Yoruba is not so good as well. I forgot it. I forgot Yoruba. But do you speak Yoruba at all?
No, I understand, but I don't speak.
But you do understand when people speak?
Yeah, when people speak, I understand what they're saying.
Okay.
I even understand my parents' dialect. Because
No.
They speak Yoruba and they speak, they're from Akure. So you know they have their own way of saying things. So I understand that, but I cannot differentiate between the two.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how do you know you understand?
No, I know what they're saying because I guess that's what my parents speak in the house.
Okay.
They kind of mix it up.
Aha.
So when they mix it up, I wouldn't know, but I would still think it's the same
But what about if other Nigerian people speak Yoruba and or Akure, will you still understand? Not just your parents.
I would understand.
You will?
I would understand. Yeah. But I will not be able to tell you that, that person is speaking the Akure accent or the Yoruba. I would still think is the same.
And all your siblings still understand like that?
Yeah, they all understand, yeah.
But they cannot speak too?
They cannot, my younger brother, my younger sister, we can understand, but we just don't speak it.
Wow.
But my elder sister, she understands it because she grew up in Nigeria. She stayed there all through her teens and all that. Yeah.
Wow. Now, what's your full name? I think
it's
Niran.
It's Niran.
Okay, Niran is a short form.
Short form, yeah.
Okay, so Olaniran, somebody said that Niran must be connected to vision, but Olaniran, I don't have an idea what that is.
I'm sure if my mom was on the platform, she would probably write. But she's at work right now. But she's told me before, but
she surely knows the meaning, right?
Yeah, she would know. Yeah.
Because most Yoruba people and most Nigerian people, when they name their kids, they have some meaning to it.
Yes.
Not just a name, it has some meaning to it.
Meaning to it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was asking, if your name is Niran, what would that, or Olaniran, right?
Yes, Olaniran, yes.
So I'm sure your parents should have a meaning for it, which means, somebody is trying to translate it here. Mujisola Aino says,
okay.
It could mean means Olaniran means wealth in the lineage.
Oh, okay.
Or there is maybe Olaniran means wealth in our in the lineage or in our lineage, something like that. That maybe Olaniran. That means okay. Maybe your mom.
My wife just wrote me that said it has something to do with vision.
Okay,
so,
vision.
I'm just hearing that.
Vision. Okay, so So vision is different from wealth.
But some people say it's wealth because I've heard wealth, vision and wealth. So it's.
Does your wife understand Yoruba or what?
Oh yeah, she understands. She speaks Yoruba.
Wow.
Yeah.
But she also grew up.
So they say Nira itself means vision. But I don't know what the other means.
Yeah, it's difficult. Wealth with force. Oh, somebody just came with a good idea and said it could mean wealth with foresight.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe foresight for wealth.
Foresight for
It's tough. It's tough. Well, anyway, nice to have you here, Pastor Niran.
Yeah.
What about, you mean the Americans are not asking you, or Canadians, they don't ask you what's the meaning of your name?
In this part of the world, they don't really understand that, they will say, oh, your name is unique. Unique. That's all they will say is unique. They will never ask you what it means. Because to them, that name is just a name. But for us, for those that are from Nigeria, they know that it carries a meaning.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your journey like? Because today we are doing not book review like you did the last time. What we are doing right now is, Kingdom Fruits. So, as for Kingdom Fruits, I would like to know your journey. What's your journey been like? Were you born in Nigeria? Were you born in Nigeria?
I was born in Nigeria, Ikeja,
in Nigeria. Lagos.
Lagos. But I only lived from the time I was born to when I only lived there for 1 year. Yeah. So, but I was in Nigeria for 1 year. Then we moved to join my father in Saskatchewan, in
Canada.
Yeah. So then we were there for 5 years. But in those 5 years, I think I was very quiet. I would keep to myself. So my parents were very concerned.
I was in Saskatchewan 15 years ago.
Oh wow!
I'm sure you were not there already that time.
No, we moved. So we were there for 5 years. So, but my parents were very concerned that I was very quiet. So then they decided that maybe the best thing is for us to move back to Nigeria, because around those times everybody was white, and my family was the only blacks in that time. So people from all over would come just to see us, because they never seen anyone black before. So they just ring the bell to see that is it really true that there's a black family living here. So they ring the bell, and my mom will open the door, and they were like, wow. Okay, it was like something that there was something strange that they have never seen before. They'll come from the city just to get to see black people, because we were the only ones there. So, but I was struggling.
This was in the 70s.
This was in the 80s, early like 82, 83.
What was your dad doing there at that time?
He was studying. He was studying in mechanical engineering. So and there was a lot of opportunities there. So he had a really good job. So that's where he was based.
Okay.
So that's where we were. So I was struggling. They said I was struggling in school. I was very quiet. I wouldn't say anything. And some of the stories that my mom would tell me is that I'll be okay when she's taking me to school, but once it's time for her to drop me at school, I'll be crying.
And you are the only black child in that school.
Yeah, I think that I was the only black child in that school. So I'll be crying. I don't want to go. So then eventually I'll go. And then the teachers were saying that I wouldn't say anything. I was just to myself. I wouldn't talk. So my parents were very concerned that, okay, maybe it would be better for us to return back to Nigeria. So that was where my brothers and sisters were born. But in 1987, we returned back to Nigeria. So we were in Nigeria from 87, then at 92, when it was 1992, with all the problems that were happening in Nigeria, so our parents decided that we should return back. So then when we came back, instead of going to Saskatchewan, we went to Toronto. So that's where I spent my adulthood life. But I still had those. I was still really quiet. I would still really stick to myself.
But did you have did you have those tendencies in Nigeria as well?
I can't really recall if I had it. I believe I did, but I can't really recall that I had it in Nigeria. I can't really. There was never really an event that in Nigeria I had it, but it was like when I came to Canada, it was like I had those. It became like something I knew that I had. So it became something that I thought that I got to the place where I thought that that's how I was, and then I was just quiet. So but being more in Toronto, you're more in a diverse. It's a little bit more diverse. So I would fit in, but at the same time, I would always be quiet. I would always stay to myself. But it's not that I'm quiet, don't talk at all. It's just when I don't really know you, I would just stay in my own lane. I won't say anything to anyone. And it got so bad that I think it really got bad when I got to high school, because in high school I was quiet. I would stay to myself. Even in class, I remember when I was preparing for this, I remember this one event that happened, that I was in class, and the teacher now said everyone should break into two groups of three. So everyone broke into groups of three. So somehow the people that I wanted to join their group, they already had their group. So, and for some strange reason, I didn't have enough courage to rise up and go and tell the teacher that I don't have a group. So for a whole week, every single day we're in class, I would just sit down there, pretend as if waiting for someone to come to me and say, whose group are you in? But no one came to me. And I was so to myself that I didn't have enough courage to rise up.
You are too timid. Sorry? You are too timid to.
Yes. I was too timid. I didn't have enough courage to rise up to go and tell my teacher, listen, I don't have a group. Is there anyone I can join? So it's like I was always waiting for someone to say something. So lo and behold, after maybe I think it was after a week, somebody said, what group are you in? And I'm like, I don't have a group. And then he's like, oh well, okay, come and join our group. So that's how I was able to join our group. And public speaking was a nightmare for me. I hate to stand before people and talk. I hate to if I was stand before people, I'll be shaking uncontrollably.
Have you listened to my confidence series?
To tell you the truth, I just because you were running it, I just listened. I'm not listening to all of it, but I listened to part of it in on this past weekend.
Because it's like you are telling my story.
Wow, yeah. So I was very shaky. When I was talking before, I would shake. I would be sweating. So it was really, really bad. But if you ask me, did I have a good childhood? I would say yes. If you ask me, was that a problem that you have? I would say no. I didn't have a problem. That's just the way I am. I'm quiet. So it's not until I now began, as I was growing over, of course, I was able to overcome that. If I needed to do something, I would go to you. But deep down inside, I believe that thing was in my head to the point that it was limiting me. And then when I was 23 years old, I gave my life to Christ, and I started being involved in church. So then I was so surprised that God is calling me to preach because I was standing before people was very frightening to me. That the first time when I was supposed to do it, I was shaking, but it's like the moment when I did it once, it's like the fear of it just broke off my life. So then when I did it once, I just know. So anytime I minister, I'm always so surprised that I'm never like this. This is not who I am. So people always marvel that he's so bold when he preaches, but when he comes off the pulpit, he returns back to his
shell.
he returns back to being quiet and being all like that. So then that was always even when I was 27 years old. That was when I started pastoring a church. I had to start a church from scratch. And that was when I really found out that was a challenge. Then I would always go to God and I would say, Lord, how am I going to overcome this? Because now I have to talk to strangers. I have to go out. Evangelism was frightening for me to be able to go. So I always go to God. God, why did you call me to do this? You know that you know the way I am. So always having to step out to talk to people, to relate with people was very, very difficult. To the place where I would just lock myself in a room and just pray that God would just send them to the church, so that I don't have to go to the streets. So I don't have to go to the street corner. I don't have to go to people and just meet someone and just strike a conversation with them, because I was very timid to do that. Even though I knew what God has given me, but that became something that really limited me in the church I pastored in Canada, to the point that I was not able to I was not able to grow the church the way I believe I could have. I was not able to reach people because of the way I felt about myself. So that was the and that also translated to me also not going for the best, just settling for whatever it comes easy. So I studied mechanical engineering in college, but after I finished, I didn't really reach high. I just kind of just let it phase, and then it was during my days when I was finishing my last year of mechanical and studying mechanical engineering that I discovered that God is calling me to the ministry. So that's when I left. I think I was 25 then. I left what I was doing and I went into Bible college. But my life has been full of always just success seems like a mirage. There is only few people that will get it. It's only few people that they are born to succeed. So even as a pastor, I thought that you just have to overcome it through prayer. So I would pray, oh God, oh God of Elijah, let me succeed. I would do all manners of anything in my father's house or mother's house that's preventing me from progressing. Let it break off my life. Because that's not what I thought. I thought that there's something limiting me, limiting my potential, but not knowing that it's because of my timid mindset that I had. I had this mindset that was just limiting me, and it began to. So that's how my upbringing was. That's what I struggled with. So it doesn't matter what I did; it always came with this struggle. School. In fact, when I didn't even date, and my quietness is always especially towards women. Like I didn't date anyone during my high school days, and thank God for internet. So internet was able to help me also. So after I finished high school, I would just, they had this thing that this place where you meet people. So I would just go on there, I'll see a lady's picture, I'll just write her. So I was able to hide. So to the place that if I'm going to talk to a woman, I will have to have a list of things that I want to say to her. And then I'll have that list beside me, and I'll say, oh, how are you? Oh, okay, what do you do at school? What do you do? What's your hobby? So I find that difficult to, especially towards women. Men was easy, but for women there was always a struggle. And I noticed that through my high school days, even pre-high school, I noticed that I had that. But even though people mention it to me, I would say, but now I know that that was really, really strong, a really strong thing that I battled.
How did you meet your wife?
Sorry?
How did you eventually meet your wife?
Well, how I met my wife is, I met my wife in New York, funny enough. In the ministry that I'm in, CSC Wilson, in the ministry they have what we call youth convention. So in the youth convention, I came. So they have churches in Canada, churches in the US, churches in all over. So they have a youth. So all the youth will gather together. So by this time I was praying that who am I going to marry? Who am I going to marry? Because that's what they're teaching in church, that you need to start praying. So for like a whole year I was praying that who am I going to marry? And lucky enough, I came to New York, and we're having an event, and she lives in New York. So and then all of a sudden we met at church, and then I was saying to myself, wow, this is a beautiful woman, and and then we just started talking, and that's how I met her.
So you were able to talk to her.
It's like I had and funny enough, it's like I had boldness to approach her, but to be able to relate to anyone, or to, like, for me to see a lady and just begin to talk to her and then get her number, that was a no. To the fact that it was so bad, that was so bad actually, that one time when I was in college, I never used to drink, but when I was in college, I started drinking. I started noticing that when I'm taking this alcohol, I have this boldness, I have this confidence to do anything. So then that's when I started picking up drinking, because I knew that okay, Now I can. So when I started drinking, then I now start having boldness to approach any woman and talk to her, get her number and stuff like that. So, but as it pertains to my wife, I just it was natural. But at the same time, she's also an outgoing person, so it also made it easy on me too. Yeah.
Because a lot of guys here, white guys, they are like that. A lot of them are, timid, and that's why that's where, especially without God, that's when they begin to drink heavily, because they actually say the same thing, that once they drink, they lose the timidity, and then they become alcoholic eventually.
Yeah.
So it was because you are a believer. I think God just saved you because you are a Christian.
Well, the thing, what really helped me is that throughout my life, especially when those 5 years I was in Nigeria, I had an encounter with God. So, and my parents were very active in church. So my parents were very active. So I knew, and then like all the pastors will always come to our house. So even though I was going there, it's like I couldn't go too far. I could only go. So I was only using drinking to more or less resolve that part. Just drinking enough to be able to overcome shyness and become bold to approach ladies. So that was all I was using. So I would never stay at home and just drink. I will, if I'm going out and I know women are going to be there, women are going to be there. So I'll make sure I pack. I'll make sure I have my stuff ready so that I can drink, and then when I get there, I'll be ready to talk to whoever I need to talk to and get whatever number I need to get to. So that was what I was using drinking for. So but I never saw it as a problem that I was sad about. I just saw that I just got to the place that it's part of me. That's how I am. And then drinking was just more or less to become bold at that moment.
How did you get rid of it? The drinking.
How did I get rid of it?
Yeah, the drinking issue.
Once I gave my life to Christ when I was 23 years old, it just stopped automatically. It just stopped. It was not something that it's just like everything. It's like everything just completely changed overnight. Like I had an encounter with God, and the encounter I had with God was I was watching it. I came home from work, and I've always delayed salvation because I grew up in a Christian home. And then I think John Hagee was having a program where it says, what if the tomorrow you're hoping for never comes? Because I always told God that I will get married just when I find my wife. That's when I will just give my life to you. That was my negotiation with God. But then God, the Holy Spirit began to minister to me. What if the tomorrow you hope for never comes? And that's the night that I surrendered my life to Christ. And then once I surrendered my life to Christ, everything changed. I stopped drinking, I stopped partying, there was no here and there. It was just, and I just began to become serious with God, church and everything.
Because if you had not been saved, you wouldn't have been able to meet your wife anyway.
No, that's true. But funny enough, even when I was not saved, they were advertising those youth conventions, but I had no desire to go. So it's like everything was really well arranged. So that was how I was able to overcome that and then now focus on God. That's when I now began to discover that God is calling to be a pastor. And I was surprised that be a pastor with all those. So that's how I was able to overcome drinking, and that's how I was able to step into ministry. But I still had those times when I can become really timid, to the point that even after Bible college, and now God has really revealed certain things to me that the church is not really saying, that I was timid to not say it, that I wanted people's acceptance. Like a lot of the things that you are saying, that's what I discovered. And you are taking it deeper, but a lot of things that you say about relationship with God, about what Jesus has done for you, and victory over the devil, a lot of those things, those are what I discovered, but that was not what I was preaching. When I came out of it, I noticed that everyone is saying something else, and I'm saying, and I know this. So I became so timid that I began to say, okay, you know what? Let me start. Maybe I should maybe I'm wrong. Let me start going and start preaching what others, so I can fit into what everyone else is doing. So I was not bold enough. So that was one thing in my life. I was not really bold enough to carry out whatever it is that I believe God has placed in me to say.
So when you started the church, you were forced to be preaching like every other person. You were basically doing the same thing you saw other people doing.
So I began to do. I mean, I had a little bit of success coming out of Bible college, but then I began to copy what everybody else is doing. I began to do. Okay, I see that preacher on TV. I like what he wrote, and the person I used to follow is Benny Hinn. I used to follow Benny Hinn, so I would write down his messages. I'll order his tapes. I'll listen to him, and so whatever he said, or whatever any other pastor, Bishop Redefining said, I will write it down. So there was never really spending time with God to see what God is revealing to me. It was just that what is everybody saying, and then I'll just apply it to whatever it is that I know, or filter it a little bit, and then I would minister that at church. So that was kind of how my ministry was going.
But maybe what you are saying now is exactly what most pastors are doing.
Yes, majority of pastors they're just, and I've always said that. I think anytime I call and I would say that people are just copying themselves, and that's what I was doing. I was copying what that pastor says or what that pastor says. I would preach somebody else's message that maybe didn't minister to me, or maybe it's not really applicable to me. But I would just preach it because he has success. Look at how big his church is. He has churches all over, and I'm just starting my church, and then I need to start plugging into what he's doing over there. So I was always trying everything. I remember one pastor that I spoke to told me that, why are you always because he came to my house and I have books of everybody. I have books of this one, that one. He said, you need to find one that you stay focused on, that you are all over the place. So, and then that at first I thought that what is he talking about? So I kept on still doing it. So I'll preach faith. If I want faith, I'll go to Bishop Redefining. If I want to preach grace, maybe Andrew Womack. If I want so it was always a combination of everything. And it was like and the funny thing is that God is just looking at me, and I'm just doing it the way I know how, doing what I've known all these years, and then but that was just leading to more struggle. That was just leading to struggle personally, and then also in the church too. The church was not growing as I would desire it to grow, or how I believe it should grow. But I just kept doing it. So yeah.
So how long did you pastor?
So I started June of 2008. I started June of 2008.
So you pastored basically for 10 years.
Yeah, for 10 years. Yeah, basically for 10 years. So, but those 10 years we're always trying to fit in, always trying to prove, like among pastors, there's always a sense of trying to compete. So in a way that can rob, even though I'm not the type of person that likes to compete with anyone, but all of a sudden it's like I'm trying to compete, I'm trying to, you do this, I'm going to do this, or you do that, I'm going to do this. So it was more like a sense of competing, but even though deep down inside I know that I can't be competing, I have to run my own race. Yeah. But that was basically the way it is. So I'm just going with the flow. Just going with the flow.
At what point did you come across DSA? And how?
To tell you the truth, how did I come across DSA? It started, and this is probably one of my regrets. It started 2008. A minister came to our church, and he told me, I told him that was in ministry.
That was basically the same year you started pastoring.
Yeah, he came to our church, I think it's either ending of 2007 or 2008, early, because I started in June.
Okay.
So he came early and he told me that I told him that I'm going to be in the ministry. They asked me, what do you think that God has called you to do? I told him, God, I believe I have the gift of an evangelist. And so then he said he wants to invite me to do something. He said, I want you to go and get this book, Pastoring Without Tears by Pastor Sonja Elijah. I was like, okay. Yeah, so he just gave me a brief message about what you've done and everything. So that stuck with me. It stuck with me to the place that when all of a sudden now, when I was just about to start ministry, I now all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like I think I saw a magazine that had your name in it, and it was just talking about everything you did. How you built the largest church in Europe, how 99% of your church is white. And I was like, wow, really? Is that possible? So then I went on the internet, I searched, I followed some of your messages, but it was kind of hard for me because it wasn't all English. It was always through an interpreter. So it was very, very hard to really follow. So, but I did listen to one of your interviews that you had with someone that I think someone in UK about how you did the whole story about your church, how you started, the struggles you had. So I remember one night I stayed up all night and I listened to that whole thing. But the mistake I did is that I just stopped there. So then whenever DSA comes to mind, I will just start again to see what he's doing. And then I'll just listen to one message, and then because I was just doing everything, I was listen to DSA, I will listen to all the top pastors, I will just listen to them. So whenever I have this, whenever something comes on me to listen to DSA, I will listen to him. Whenever something comes on me to listen to Bishop Redefining, I will listen to him. Whenever something comes on me to listen to whoever it is, I will listen to them. So just a combination of just everything. So that's how I got contact DSA. So then all of a sudden now, I think I got married 2014. Yeah, 2014. I got married 2014, and then when Dr. Miles Monroe died, I was shocked that something like that can happen. How is it possible for someone like that to, and even the way it happened? So I was so shocked. But then all of a sudden, when that happened, it's like all of a sudden on Facebook, your own your videos were not coming up. You now did a video talking about what happened. Even though I didn't really listen to it, but that's when
they are one of the first. That was around the time I started doing things in English. Before then,
yes.
Those were some of my first direct English messages on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Before then, I was not doing anything in English.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's when it's like all of a sudden I saw Sunday Elijah on. I started seeing you coming up, and then I started seeing your page. That even some of my friends already liked your page. I'm like, whoa! So I started liking your page, and then moving from there, then all of a sudden I started seeing that you started doing Ask Pastor Sunday live. Yes. So I was start viewing it, and I started listening, But I noticed that every Saturday you would do Ask Pastor Sunday. So I would listen in. Once I see it on my thing, I would listen, but I wouldn't listen to it through. I was just listening to little by little. Then all of a sudden, around that 2000 and I think it's 2000 and is this 2016? Then you started doing Facebook Live. So then I noticed that. So one night I was up late, and I just noticed that you're doing a series on Life is Predictable. Life is predictable. What do you mean life is predictable? To me, I thought life depends on God, or you have to. Everything in your life is all depending on God. Everything about your life is depending on. You have to spend certain time dealing with the devil, But so that's why I thought life. What I started talking about, life is predictable. That you can succeed, that anyone's success can be duplicated. If someone have done it, you can do it too. And I was like, what does that mean? So I just started listening. That's how I got hooked. I was like, wow. So you talk about life is predictable. Then you went to life is a school, and then you started talking about and you did the financial series. And I was like, wow, look, I mean, like, so I was so that's when I started listening, and then all of a sudden, then I just stopped. I stopped for some reason. I stopped I think I stopped ending of June. I stopped listening, and that also having some challenges in my life. So I had to. It's like I had to stop and more or less face that.
But at that point, at that point, when you began to listen properly from those broadcasts, daily broadcasts, what were your impressions? What were the things that made you to listen for that period?
Because you were saying things I've never heard before. You were saying things that I've never had preached. I've been in church at that time, I've been in church for a very long time, and nobody has ever said that. And I used to believe that all you need is just one favor from God. Will cancel all your labor. I used to pray God for me.
Are you serious?
I didn't believe in work. In fact, I used to preach that to my wife, that walking is a symptom of the curse. That when God's favor is on you, that all you need is just to have God's favor. And then once that favor, I used to think that must be what is happening in all these pastors. They are favored. It can't be because of anything. So that's how I thought life is about, that you just need to ask God for, Lord, favor me. And that's what everybody's praying. Lord, favor me, favor my righteous cause, So that's how I thought life is about. But
favor my what?
My righteous cause.
What righteous?
What I'm trying to do, Lord, favor it. That's the interpretation of
my righteous cause means what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
Oh. Why should it be so complicated? Why should it be so complicated? Righteous cause.
No, because I heard someone saying that.
Okay.
Someone says it, so then you start applying it. So now you are saying, I mean, I can succeed. If someone is a millionaire, I can be a millionaire. Like, I never saw that. I never saw that as once someone has done it, it means it can be done. So that was a real talk for, and then that God placed you on the earth to walk. That walk is a good thing. That you are here to walk. You shouldn't be. So when you said that what is that phrase? 1,000 days of one day of favor is better than 1,000 days of labor. I opened my mouth wide, like.
When I said what?
When you said that phrase, there's one time when you just said, I think you said, to me, you said that phrase for the first time.
Said what?
So I was like, really?
What phrase?
That you talk about the phrase of 1,000 days of labor. Is it 1,000 days of labor is better than 1 day of favor, or one? I forgot about it now.
Okay.
But you said it once, and I was like, really?
That is the opposite.
I believed that all my life.
It's the opposite of what you always knew. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
That 1,000 days of labor is better than every day of favor.
Favor, yes. So I believe that. But then you are now saying
no. I said 1,000 days of labor is better than every day of favor.
Every day of labor. Okay.
Of favor.
Yes.
Labor is better than favor.
Favor, yes.
So that's what shocked you.
Sorry? Mine was the opposite. Mine was the opposite. So when you said that, I was shocked. Because I've said this, I've preached it, I've heard it all these years, and I never knew that God is sitting in heaven waiting for me to do something. That I can become anything I want to be. I was always praying that God will make me to become. So it was like I felt like so what I've been doing, I've missed it all these years. Where I so then you start talking about self-development. I was like, self-development? What is self-development? Because you always hear, because I've heard about self-helps. But I never thought that. I thought that was what the unbelievers do. I thought that was what unbelievers do. But for us, we don't. There's no such thing as self-help. That this is how God has created you. You just need to pray, and then God will bring you there somehow. Somehow, somewhere if God says this is what you're going to be, somehow, somewhere you're going to get there. That you have no responsibility. You just have to you just have to just pray and believe that eventually one day somehow God will just connect everything together so that you get there. So I was shocked that there's something called self-development, and at this time I've been in ministry for a long time, and I was never developing myself. You know, even though I would buy books, listen to tapes, go on YouTube, but I never knew the importance of it. I never knew that this very thing is very important for you to succeed. If you want to succeed, that this thing is very, very important. So that's when I started listening. But then all of a sudden, because of what's happened in my life, I just stopped. So then, and I think also that I wanted to resume, but then I noticed that even DSA2, you stopped doing it for some time. So I was like, okay. So, but I didn't know that all your messages now are on YouTube. I didn't know that all your messages are on YouTube. So all of a sudden, last year, August, end of August, I guess my wife was just strolling through my page, and she noticed that I will send you questions on your Ask Pastor Sunday Live. I said, oh, I know. Do you follow Pastor Sunday? I'm like, well, yeah, I used to listen to him last year. He used to say some amazing things, but he stopped. I said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I think he's sure. He used to do Facebook Live. He said, you should search to see if he still does it. And then, funny enough, I just typed in your name and hit enter, and all of a sudden you are doing Facebook Live. And it was the ending of your True series. It was the ending of the True series, and this is where I think that this is where you're about to transition into a new level of going after the African church. So then that's when you now did a video about Chris Ayakilome and all of them, and then I now noticed that so I was surprised that why would DSA be talking about Chris Ayakilome? And then I saw how everybody was attacking you. But there was one video that you did that really got my attention. It's the video where you give all the pastors an invitation to call and hear what you have to say. So I was like, okay. So then I really geared myself up to listen. And as I listened to what you're trying to say, it's like everything you have been saying, God has spoken to me about that 5 years before. Because when I went to Nigeria, everybody marvels about how great the church is in Nigeria, but I saw a problem. Not only that, there was a pastor that I met in 2009. He would tell me that all these pastors in Nigeria, they are destroying the country. I'm like, oh, how can they be destroying the country? He told me they are destroying the country. Funny enough, when he hears that I'm following you, and he hears me saying the things I'm saying, he said, didn't I tell you that years ago? I told you that these people are destroying their country with their doctrine.
He has to be a very progressive guy.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. So he was spot on that. And I was like, no, they're not. How can
for him to know that?
Yeah.
For him to know that he must be very progressive.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the one that told me that you are all over the place. You need to find one person that you're following.
Is he based in Nigeria?
No, he's in Canada.
Is he a Nigerian?
He's a Nigerian, yes.
But he's based in Canada.
But he's based in Canada, yeah.
Tell me that part again. How did your wife discover what happened? How did your wife know me? Was she listening herself?
No, she didn't. She doesn't really know you. She just noticed that she just noticed that I was sending you some messages. I don't know how, but somehow I guess something just rose in her to just search what I was doing, what are my activities on Facebook, and she just noticed that I was sending you some messages as it pertains to relationship. So she noticed that I was sending you messages. So then she just said, I know that you are sending Pastor Sunday messages on relationships. Why is it that you don't follow him?
How did she know that? How did she know that I was on?
Sorry? No, she just noticed that I was sending you messages.
But how did she?
I was sending you messages. She noticed that I don't know how. Even to today, I don't even know how. But she says she noticed that I was sending you messages about, because you had your Ask Pastor Sunday live. So somehow she noticed that I was sending some messages to you to get answers for. So then she was like, why did you stop following him?
But how did she know that I was doing this thing constantly? How did she know that I could be followed? How did she know? Was she following me herself?
No, she wasn't following you.
How did she
just noticed that I was?
And she said, why did you?
Noticed that I was doing it.
And
then she was intrigued. Because my wife is a lawyer. My wife is a lawyer, so she's very investigative and stuff like that. So she noticed that I was sending him messages, but she noticed that I'm not really following him, or I'm not really. Then she would always try to judge. Okay, why is it that you? So what is it that you do? I said, yeah, I used to listen to him every day. I would get up 2:30 in the morning, and then I would get up. I would listen to him at 2:30 p.m. I said, then why did you stop? And I was like, I said, well, with everything that was going on in my life, I stopped, and then also I noticed that also he stopped, and then there was no way of really. I think something happened with I don't know, something changed, but I was just not connect, because usually I would get the live feed. When you're live, I would get it, but then all of a sudden it stopped. So then she just said, why don't you check to see if he's still doing it? And I was okay, and I checked, and then right at that time, you were doing live. I said, he's live. So then that's how I resumed. So that's how I resumed following the essay, and it's like from that time till today, it's like every it's 2 o'clock our time now. 2 o'clock our time, I'm always on. If I'm doing something, I have to. So if I can't watch it live, then I will always have to watch it after before I go to bed. So that's how I got plugged in.
What hooked you in will be the fact that you saw the problems in the Nigerian church.
Yes. And that was the one that really hooked me in, is seeing, because I saw years before, the pastor that I went with Nigeria, we both saw it. Because I lived in Nigeria for 5 years, so I knew how it was. But then it's like it got worse. And then anytime you go out, you see church everywhere. You see and it's like everything is Alpha and Omega salon, beauty salon. So to me, that if you have church all over, there should be a difference. So I knew that there should be a difference, because, and then when I went to Nigeria, I wouldn't just ride around in my car. Like I would go and ride on Okada. I would go on the bus to see how life is, because everybody that I knew in Nigeria were more or less riding Okada, taking the bus. So I would go with them wherever they want to go. So then I began to see that. So and if I walk down the street, I will see 5 or 6 churches. But then when you go into the bus, it's as if it's like nothing. It's like the Jesus they know is the church, and then but they don't bring him to society. And then deep down inside, I knew there's a problem here. But I couldn't identify what the problem is, but I knew there was a problem. So when you started talking about the African church, the problem with the African church, it now began to strike a chord to the place that, at first, when you started showing all these pastors, when you start showing all the pastors in Nigeria what they're doing, I was like, whoa, like, touch not your anointed, do your prophet no. So that's how I was. That was what resonated with me. That you don't touch anointed people. You leave them. Let God deal with them. So, but that was when what that pastor told me earlier now began to click. I was able to now see by you showing those videos, I was able to now see the errors in the messages. I was now able to see the errors. I now became guilty because I knew I'm not going by what I know. I'm not going by because the Bible college I went to was not. It was a white. The pastor was very.
It was a sound Bible school.
Sound Bible school, because it was all about Jesus, what he has done for you, resting in his finished works. It was all about seeing the Old Testament through Christ.
Yeah.
It was all about God loves you.
Everything was okay.
Yes. So it was like I was liberated when I went to that Bible college. So it's like I went from that Bible college back into religion. Because I didn't know that I needed to continue what I was listening to. So then now all of a sudden that I felt guilty that the message that God gave me God gave me, I was not preaching it. I was following what everyone else is doing. So then I began to see that oh my goodness, that these people are doing. I never when I listen to them, I just take whatever they said because they have large church, they travel all over the world, they have private jet. So I'll just take whatever they say and just go with it. So when you started showing those videos and you started doing your interpretation, I'm now able to point out the errors, the flaws, the things that no, that's not right, that's not scriptural. That is something, that's what that person is saying is something else. So when people say that you shouldn't be showing videos, for me, you should be showing videos because many people don't see it. And sometimes you need to see it to really understand, to be able to see, oh no, that's wrong. Because I thought that it was okay. In fact, I will have my spiritual notes, I will write it down. I will write it down, and then maybe on Sunday I will use it. So
write what down?
So whenever any pastor in Nigeria, Redefining or Adeboye or Pastor Chrissy, I would write it down as a sermon that maybe I will use at a later time.
All their errors.
All the errors. But I got that because I never saw it as an error. I never saw it as an error.
You are duplicating their heresies.
Yeah. So it's not until you started showing video of what like for example what Bishop Oyedepo says, he always contradict himself.
Yeah.
Like he will start out well and then he will contradict. I never saw that.
Wow.
So when you started breaking it down like that, that's why everyone is understand that what Jesus is doing is he's breaking it down so that you can see it. Because sometimes someone may tell you, so he may not, if he didn't show you video, I believe that there will be a lot of people that won't believe you.
I see.
Yeah. So I believe, so for me, it helped me to be able to see the error that even right to today, I'm able, if I'm still under any administration, I'm able to identify people's errors by what they are saying.
Yeah.
So it helped me not to take everything in, because the things that we are listening to affects the way we reason. It can affect the way we reason, that it affects indirectly affect our life. So that's what really got me in, and then you went into how to you did one on the devil,
paganism, syncretism, devil.
Yeah. Yes, you did one on that.
Why did the one on how to overcome satanic forces and the satanic power?
Because that's what I believed. That's what I know. I know that.
That what?
But I know that the devil doesn't have power like that, the way that the church is projecting it. I know that the devil's not, I know that the devil's not as powerful, and we shouldn't be focusing on devil like the church is focusing. I know that we shouldn't be.
But why were you
shouldn't be marketing?
But yet you are practicing it.
But I was practicing it because because I thought that that's what it takes to succeed. But that was what I discovered in Bible college. But like I said, I abandoned that for something else.
Because all these big men were doing.
Because that's what everybody is doing. They're doing suffer not your wish, they wish to live. So then I was doing it. I'll be in my house. Suffer not the wish to live. Every wish that doesn't want me to succeed, die. You know. So I was doing it. And also with some of the things I'm going through in my life, I think that you know what? These are the time I pray. I need to pray. So then I'll be praying those prayers, and everybody around me, the pastors that you invite to your church, will tell you that you need to pray more. You need to pray like this. So then you'll be now following them because that's what everybody else is doing. So that when you began, it's like you now brought me back. It's like God used DSC to bring me back to my original message that I was supposed to preach, that I was not bold enough to be able to say. So then funny, and one day I was just listening, all of a sudden you start talking about, even though when I was listening to you earlier, you were talking about HMT, and I wanted to come, but there were just so much things happening. But then you talked, and then I was just about to move to America, which I moved to America, and then all of a sudden God told me that I need to go and meet you. How am I going to meet you? I don't have the money and everything. So then all of a sudden, when God told me I should go and meet you, that was when all of a sudden the idea just came that I should talk to certain people that I know, and I talked to them that they were able to gather money together and to come to meet you in Ukraine in November. So, and that was that experience.
But at first, when you started seeing me show you the videos, you said you were also startled. You were also taken aback.
Yeah, I was startled. I was startled. I was like, why would DSA do something like that? I mean, that's not. It's not right for a pastor to put down another pastor, or, you know. So that's how I did it. But what helped me was, even though when someone does something like that, I always try to find out why are they doing what they're doing.
Okay.
So then, you know, and by the help of the Holy Spirit, I was able to identify why he's doing what he's doing. And I think that's the problem that people don't understand. They just think that you're doing it because you're going to Nigeria, so they want to build your church. But I was able to identify that that's not it. That he has already built the largest church in Europe. Why would he be in
the most difficult place?
Why would he be? Yeah. Why would he be clamoring to go to Nigeria to build the largest church in Nigeria? To me, once you are succeeding in Europe, you can succeed anywhere, especially the place where he succeeded in. So I was able to see that, and I think I believe that people are closed-minded, not to be able to see that, to see behind the action. And that's something I guess that's a gift that God has given me. That when someone does something, I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, not to rush to judgment, not to say, oh, he has missed it. So and then also when you did that video, giving the pastors invitation to come and listen to you, I listened to you, and when you began to show the videos, I began to see it, and I began to connect the dot. And yes, this is what God was telling me the last time in 2010 when I went to Nigeria.
So, but most people say, because of our culture, we come from Africa, from Nigeria, that you don't challenge elders. And you don't correct leaders, especially when they are so renowned and they are so mystified. All those leaders as I'm talking about, many of them are mystical figures now. They are not just religious leaders. They are like cult personalities. They are personality cults or cult personalities that you cannot touch. You dare not correct them. You dare not say they're doing anything. You just leave them. Yes. So how did you process that later on?
So when I began, so then all of a sudden, then when I noticed that what you are saying makes sense, what you are saying is right, and funny enough, anyone I talk to will always say that what you are saying is right, but they don't agree with the way you are doing it. They don't agree with you showing videos and pointing out what they are saying. So, but for me, it is right, because for me, I see how it has helped me. Because if not, I will just be taking whatever they are saying in and it's okay, and not knowing that what they're saying is affecting my life, because that's what I'm listening to. So I was able to identify that it is wrong, and also I got to the place that why is it, and also I now began to say, why is it that we cannot point out what people do that is wrong? Where is that wrong in the Bible that we can't do that? So then I now began to see that it is tradition that's telling us that we have mixed into our Christianity tradition, that we are practicing a form of Christianity, but we have added traditions to it, that we are not able to challenge certain people, that we more or less go with them because of how big they are. That what we have in Nigeria is that what we do is we elevate pastors into the place that we begin to worship them indirectly. Even maybe we may not think, we may say that we are not worshiping them, to the point that for the point that DSA is bringing them out. So then I believe that was the reaction that we are getting. And I knew that you're not supposed to worship any man. You're not supposed to elevate any man. You're not supposed to elevate any pastor. And I've always had the consciousness that one of these days I'm going to stand before Christ. I'm going to give account for my life. So if I'm going to give account for my life, no pastor is going to be there. No bishop, no GO is going to be there. So this is my own life. This is my own destiny. And I cannot afford to miss it. I cannot afford to miss what God has for me. So I shouldn't be focused on who he's talking about. I shouldn't be so bothered by who he's pointing finger to. I should see what I can learn from this. So that was what was going on with me.
What would you say you've been able to learn over this year listening to DSA? What are the main lessons you think have really affected your life? Well, what has changed in your life?
What has changed in me is I am more bold. I've discovered that it's very important to zero in on what God wants you to do. I've discovered the importance of time. I never knew how important time was. I never knew. I thought that. I mean, just that book, the book that no one is better than you.
Yeah.
That was the first book when I came to HMD. That was the first book that I read. I read just the introduction, and that book, I was like, wow.
Just the introduction.
That no one is better than you. They simply have used their time to create whoever they wanted to be in life. They were able to change their life by using time. That what are you doing with your own time? Like, that book was an eye opener for me. So that's why I discovered the importance of time. That I also discovered that I also understand what the kingdom of God really is. That you are not supposed to work for money. That the work you're supposed to do is to accomplish, to advance the kingdom of God, to accomplish the purpose. That every moment of your life is to be used to advance the purpose, the agenda of God for your own life. That even if I'm working, it should be in line with my area of calling. And I was able to see beyond the four walls of the church. To see that I'm not just relevant in the four walls of the church, that I'm also needed in society to bring change. That I'm not just also to preach and then tell them to go home and then spend time with God and then preach again and spend time with go home and so that will go. So my spend time with this is that I'm supposed to take an interest in politics. I'm supposed to take an interest in the problem in my city. I shouldn't just sit back and just raise people, go and then bring members to church and then the church grows. So my definition of ministry changed completely. And then another thing I dare say is that whole that work ethic, that you're supposed to be a workaholic. So I never knew that I was supposed to be a worker. I thought working is for you're not supposed to work hard. But so that's what I discovered from following DSA, and then just principles of life. I mean, I feel like there's so much like you break. It's like you make a life is predictable, that you can like, for instance, I can become a very great writer just by self-development. I now discovered the importance of reading books. Even though I have in my church, I have a big library, but I didn't know the importance of it. Like before, I used to read one book a month. Now I've moved from one book a month to one book, at least one book a week. So it's just understanding the importance of what I'm doing and maximizing every moment that I have to be effective. So that's what that's what I was able to discover since I followed DSA.
Beautiful. How have the people around you, what have they noticed, and what have they been noticing about you? Did they notice that some change, or what have they been saying?
They have noticed that my wife always says is DA in the morning DSA, in the afternoon DSA, in the evening DSA. So she had noticed that I listen to only DSA. She noticed that I read more. She's noticed those things. She's noticed that I'm more. Like she, even though because there's a way that you are told to pray. You're supposed to pray a certain way. She knows that I don't pray that way anymore. I want my prayer to be more Christ-centered, not to be need-centered, not to be me or me and this is where or me and my family. So it is more about getting to know God, God revealing Himself, me discovering God more, so that I can reveal Him to my world. So it's like my prayer life changed. So she noticed those changes in me. She knows that I now want to start doing outreach to Nigeria. I want to start helping people more. I'm not just and then all of a sudden I start doing Facebook Live. So she knows that those are the changes that I'm now incorporating into my life.
But she pushed you into it. She said, "Why don't you follow?"
She pushed. She at the same time when I was going, she told me that she was scared of me going because of all the stuff that you are saying that she didn't necessarily agree with at that time. So she was scared, but at the same time she knew it was good. She knew that she knew was that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Because she was thinking that you will come back, she will not recognize you again.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my husband.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But
since you came back, how far?
Since I came back, I like every day.
Is she okay? Is she okay with it? Since you came back with you,
she's okay with it. In fact, I mean, just the other day, just a week ago, I was really tired, so I just took a nap, and I was sleeping, and all of a sudden, I woke up, and she's listening to DSC. I said, "You are listening to?" She said, "Listen, I'm not." She said, "I'm not part of DSA family. I'm not part of the family, but I agree with some of the things she said." To the point that she's really listening on, like even like if she's at work, she's listening in.
But she's still afraid. She's still scared to join the family. What about your relatives? What about your relatives? Are they not mad at you that you are?
They are not. Well, they are not really. To tell the truth, some people around me they agree with what you're saying, but they don't like the method. But I tell them that there's nothing wrong with the method, it's okay. And there are those that are behind it. Yes, these people they have done too much, they have done wrong, they are affecting so much. So with my family, they're okay with it. But there are some pastors that they voiced it, but then I'm not close to them as I was before. Like they don't. Like usually whenever I do something on Facebook, they're the first to like it or to comment, but now they just don't. They don't comment. They just don't say anything. They pretend like they don't. Even my video, they pretend like they didn't see it. They pretend like they don't see it. They don't, So that is there, but for the most part, but I don't really get a reaction that, oh, you're following DSA, you shouldn't be following DSA. I do know, I know deep down inside is there. I know that amongst themselves they'll probably talk about it, but it has not really come to me, especially with the last video I did. So people don't come out and just say, I can't believe you're doing this, or what you said, or how you said it. But the pastor that told me that I need to find someone to focus on this problem in Nigeria, he's like, this man is like, he's like, you are doing what he would do. But the only thing is like, but for him is like, the only thing is that he wouldn't show video the way you are showing it.
But they will
so it's like people know that there's a problem, but they wouldn't go to the length to really cause it to be a change.
But what about your mom? Your mom seems to be very, very zealous about this.
Oh, my mom is my mom is all over the platform. If you notice that she will always be writing comments.
How did she get there? Because people of our generation, they are more scared.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with my mom always, I guess she deep down she believes that there's a reason why I'm following him. So I think that kind of helps. That there's a reason why my son is following him. And also she also knows that a lot of things that you are saying, I have said it, and she didn't even believe me. She didn't believe me because all these years she grew up with all these pastors. So she didn't agree. And also what you're saying, other pastors have said it in the past because she has been in church. They have said it in the past. So she was able to connect those things. So that's what drew her in. And I think that I knew eventually she would try to get a hold of you.
She did.
But, yeah. I knew that somehow she was trying to reach out because that's how she is. She can't when she likes something, she cannot contain it. She just has to reach out. So
but she's very zealous, very energetic, but yeah. I'm surprised why she's not afraid, because most people of our age are always a little bit afraid that these are the fathers, these are the don't touch them, don't talk about them.
Yeah. My mom is not afraid of anybody. She's not afraid of any pastor. If she sees what you're doing that is wrong, she'll tell you. She'll tell you what you're doing is wrong. That's how she has been. So she's not afraid she's not afraid to tell you the way she sees it. Like sometimes she just call me and say, this is what you're doing is wrong. Even though I don't believe what she's saying, but that's how she is. So as a pattern, a lot of pastors don't like that about her. But that's how she is. So she's very bold once she discovers something, but that what really helped her was that the fact that she saw that I was following, she saw that I was listening, she saw I would share. She saw that a lot of the things that you are saying I've said in the past, and also she has heard from other pastors that she has had the privilege of working with in the past. So that was what able to help her. And also my elder sister, and then she knows that my elder sister is listening to it too, passionately. so that it just let you know that there are people that are listening that you don't really, maybe they may not necessarily connect or write in, but they are like, wow, like really? So these people are doing all this, and this is what's going on, so.
Did you make any effort to convert your sister or what?
No, I didn't. To tell you the truth, I didn't really try to forcefully force anyone. I more or less just, I wanted to more or less, because I'm here in New York, so I just want to focus on me, my family, and get rooted and grounded in this, and that's when I now started doing Facebook Live. And then from time to time, I would try to reach out to my siblings, give them advice, this is what life is about, and stuff like that. Because my other siblings, they're not really into church like that, so they don't even know they don't even know Bishop Redefining or Pastor Chris and like that. They just know me as a pastor. So They just know me as a pastor. So that's part of the reasons why I decided to start doing Facebook Live, so people are able to get, because some people will not. And the reason why I did Facebook Live, because I noticed that some people won't listen to you, but they might listen to someone else.
Yes.
Yeah, they might listen to someone else. So so that's one of the reasons I believe that.
And then you have specific experience because you've been among them.
Yes.
You've done some of these things. You know what they are doing.
Yes. Yes.
And I've not done it. I've not been there. So, so you can communicate to people the way I would never be able to communicate to them.
Yes. So now those are the reasons why, and that
tell us. You said especially after your last broadcast. What is that like? Your last broadcast about that could have irritated people? What is it? The last program that you did, or the last broadcast that
I did? I think I did one on. I think I did one on. I think I did one as love. I think I did one on love your enemies.
And they don't do that in Africa. You don't love your enemies.
They don't. No.
you kill your enemies.
Yeah, kill your enemies. Yeah. So I did one. I think it's last week. I did one on love. That we were supposed to love. Love thinks no evil of his neighbor. Love thinks no evil. That's the one I did. So I did one of that to get people to understand that you're not supposed to pray for someone to die, or pray, or you're not supposed to, and that even the doctrine of people who are behind your failure in life is wrong, or people are tying you down. They're tying you down your village, or they're tying you down somewhere, and until you have gone and prayed to break that, to break yourself loose, you are going to remain there. So I'm trying to say that you shouldn't see people as behind your predicament in life. That you should understand that you are the own architect of your own success. And also on Saturday, I try to do more practical messages to get people to start reading and start understanding what it takes to succeed in life. So, but those are the messages that I started.
I'm sure many people would like to listen to your messages. How can they get a hold of you on Facebook? How do you do your messages?
Yeah, I do my message on Facebook. Niran Kolawole. I come on live on Tuesday 9 p.m. East, and that's New York time, and also Tuesday, Thursday 9 p.m. and then on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. I come on live, and also I do have a Facebook channel. You just type in Pastor Niran, and you will see some of my Facebook. But I'm working on taking some of my messages on Facebook and put it over on YouTube, which is something that I'm probably going to be doing this week.
So you come out 3 times a week?
Yeah, I come out 3 times a week. 3 times a week.
And what have you gotten any reaction, any response at all from any of the things you've done?
On Facebook, yeah, I get people like it. Some people are ignoring it. my set of friends, some people like it. Some people are ignoring it. Some people are, but for the most part, I get good reaction from family members. I get a good reaction from certain people. But I'm really trying to see how I can break, because it's and I received a message last week that I'm coming against religious systems that have been there for years.
But you can actually boost your message by $5, $10 to a certain group of people that you are targeting.
Okay, I've tried. Somebody told me that, but I'm not really able to identify that, and that's something that I really want to do to be able to get the message out, because the message that we are hearing has robbed so much people of time. I've robbed so much people of money. I've robbed so much people of their true potential. And I think it's very important, and I'd like to recommend everyone that, listen, it's not about your geo, it's not about your bishop, it is about you, your life. You only live once, and you cannot, like, for instance, for me, I felt like I've wasted 10 years of my life. I felt like I could have been someone, I could have been somewhere bigger today than where I am today. But I thank God that I discovered at still a relatively young age. But still, I wasted those 10 years, and I really want to help people not to do the same. That you only live once. That you shouldn't be fighting for. You shouldn't be fighting for your bishop, or you shouldn't be fighting for your pastor. You should be fighting for. You should stand on the truth. So I also want to recommend to everyone that it's not about. I'm not in the. I don't believe in putting down other pastors or putting down other bishops. That's not what DSA is doing. He's just trying to help you. He wants to liberate a whole continent. That he's passionate about seeing people rise and to become the giants, to become the world changers. So, and that's what I'm able to see when I follow DSA. That's what I'm able to see when I came to Ukraine. You know that, and there's one phrase that you said that you should be when you're 40, you should be ready to die at 40. And I'm like, at that time I was and I'm 36. And I'm like, I'm not ready to die in 4 years. That's how we should live our life, you know. So, and I would recommend everyone is not that and you should have an open mind. Don't be so, you know. I think religion has closed people's minds. That when the truth comes, they can't even recognize it, and that we should have an open mind to discover that, hey, because the truth of the matter is, and I've always said this everywhere, that one of these days we are all going to give our account to Christ for our life, and there's nobody. You're not going to stand for any bishop, and no bishop can stand for you. It is just you and him, and you want to make sure that you live an effective life, and that's what you get through DSA's teachings. That's what you get through listening to DSA. I mean, there's so many materials. There's so many. If you can go to his YouTube channel, you get. Somebody said you get drowned. I said, I know you won't get drowned. There's a tsunami of messages. Tsunami of messages. I mean, I don't know how. It's like he has messages from 10, 15 years ago that he has preached on that can better your life. So I just want to recommend for everyone that it doesn't matter what age you are now, you need to rise up and take charge of your own life. The hour of having celebrity pastor or pastor that you cannot talk about, your pastor can miss it. And what I've noticed is that once the pastor misses it, it trickles down to everyone. So the pastor's missing it, you are missing it, and then we are not passing it down, everyone else is missing it. But yet we are in church celebrating, having good time, whereas the world is hurting and we're not doing anything, and we're just more or less sitting down in the front of the church playing church. So my recommendation is everyone should listen to what DSA is saying. Don't have any bias to any pastor. Don't be pliable. Be flexible. You know. And I've always said that I told my wife this, and everyone I said the greatest decision I made is when I went to Ukraine in November. That was the great. And honestly, I've never because when you go to HMT, what you get with HMT is you get a book expressed to you in 1 week. One book being preached, being manifested, being taught, being challenged, being pushed. You know, you are pushed to your limits. So this is not a movement to destroy. You know, everybody's trying to twist it that we're against the church. No, we are for the church. We want a glorious church. Jesus is coming for a church without spot and without wrinkle. And God is moving in this time, and I invite everyone to get involved in one way or another.
Why will going to Ukraine be the greatest experience of your life? What happens in Ukraine?
It was because you know, HMT is designed in a way to really push you. Like you're not going to come to Ukraine and for it's not a vacation. It's not a time just to sit down. It's a time to really examine yourself, examine your life, discover the secret that made DSA who he is. You know, because everyone always talk about what you were able to achieve. You know, every pastor, they will talk about, Pastor Sonny in Ukraine. But now he's now telling you his secret. He's now telling you what he did, how he did it, the price he paid, the results he was able to accomplish, and how you yourself too can can duplicate the same thing in wherever you are. So now he's giving everyone an invitation to come and learn, come and see how I am, come and see how I live. To the place that it's not like he's doing it in his church. He's doing it in his own house. And then you get to stay in his own house. And you get to ride in his own car. So it was the message, the quality of message. It's like something that you have never had, that you could have been in church for 30 years, but you've never had it. You could have been in church for even 50 years, and you have never had this type of message. So that's why HMT to me was like, for now I know what it takes to succeed. Success is not a mirage to me anymore. Now I know that being a millionaire is possible just by applying principles. So that's what HMT was able to do to me. And then it's not just me. You know, a lot of us that came, we're all amongst ourselves, we're just wow. We're just like, even though you're tired, you know that, man, I mean, honestly, we just contacted something. It's not until I come to HMT that I've not lived yet. I was just existing. So that's what HMT will do to you.
Beautiful. Well, for those people who want to attend HMT or come to Ukraine sometime, the way to do it is to write to guest, GUEST, at godembassy.org, or just go and register to come at any time you want on my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/visit. That's like visit. That's one. Secondly, those who are asking how to get the books, first of all, you can go and read the books for free on Amazon Unlimited or Kingdo Unlimited. You can read them for free if you are registered on Kingdo Unlimited. But if not, then you can buy the books on Amazon. But if you think the ones on Amazon are too expensive, then you could write to my office. The way to write is dssbooks@gmail.com. 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 Or you could go to my blog as well and buy the book there, or order the book there, sundayadelajablog.com/books. Remember, when you want to come to Ukraine, it's /visit. If you want to buy the books, it's /books. If you want to join the Nigerian movement, it is /Nigeria. And if you want to join the mentorship team or mentorship class, mentorship program, it is sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. So it's the same sundayadelajablog.com, which is www.sundayadelajablog.com. Then whatever you want, you slash it, /Nigeria or /visit or /mentorship or /books. So what are the books that you think, DSS books that you think have influenced you and you want to, or you could recommend to other people? You already mentioned one, no one is better than you. Are there some other books?
The other ones are how to regain your lost years.
Okay, how to regain your lost years.
How to regain your lost years.
I don't have that here. How to regain your lost years. You have it? I wanted to show it to people. Yeah. Okay. How to regain your lost years. Yes.
Life. There's one you did on. Life is
a book.
The essence of is it the essentials of life?
The essence and values of life.
The essence, yes, the essence of life. That's a really good book. There's the one that I did the last. Pastor Face Your Calling.
Pastor Face Your Calling. Yeah, you did a good job on that one. Pastor Face Your Calling.
There's one, Money Will Make You Rich.
Pastor Face Your Calling. This one.
Yeah, that is that book is, even though people are not reading it, but you need to read that book.
Yeah, people are not.
Even though you're not a pastor, you should still read the book.
Yep. Then life is predictable. You said that life is predictable and life is predictable and which one? Please.
Life is predictable. No one is better than you. The Jesus you never knew.
The essence and value of life.
Yeah. No one is better than you.
Yeah, no one is better than you, right?
I think I said the Jesus you never knew. Yes, there are others. It doesn't come to me right now.
This one? Have you read this one?
I've not read that one yet. That one has to do with I think the HMT that we came on.
Yes. And what about this one?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Money will make you rich. How to secure your financial future.
How to build a secure financial future. How to build a secure. Yeah. This is the how to regain your lost years. Yeah. And
I just finished reading now how to hear God's voice.
Oh right. This is how to build a secure financial future.
Yeah, that's that one.
Okay. You read how to hear God's voice.
How to hear God's voice.
Okay.
I read
what about this one?
Yes. What to do with your time.
What do you do with your time?
That is an explosive book. How to convert your time. How to converting your time. Yeah.
What about this one?
Yes. That's the mother of all books. Who I am and why am I here?
Right.
Yeah, I read that book.
How to hear the voice of God.
How to hear God's voice. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important for you to be able to understand how God speaks. And then the reason why I want to read that book is I want to know what DSA knows that I don't know. So a lot of times, because I know God speaks, but a lot of times there's some secrets that someone else doesn't know. So and he puts it in a book. So that's why I read that book.
Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, now that's the book that I have scheduled to read next month, the first week of April.
How to be in the here now.
That one. And then also I'm going to be reading, and I think I told one of your sisters that I would like to do a review on the excellence, the key to elevation.
Oh, excellent! You read it?
I'm not ready. I'm going to read it.
You want to read it? Excellence, yeah. That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Excellence, your key to elevation.
The elevation. Excellent. So that's the next book that I'm gonna do. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you've not read this one.
Yes, you have
so many books.
I've not read that one. No, that one is. I'm also going to read that in April because I've never read any book about vision. So now that I found out that my name is associated with vision, so I now know that.
And this one,
I have to read that one too. I've not read. How to keep your focus? Yeah, I've not read that one. Yeah, but I have it's like the only books now I can read is DSA's books because they are so rich. They are full of so much. It's not something that you read once and put aside. You read it and you have to reread it and you have to reread it. So, and those are the DSA's books are really, really powerful. And I recommend everyone to read his books. And right now I subscribe to Unlimited.
Kingdo Unlimited.
Kingdo Unlimited. So I'm able to read as much.
And for free. You don't even need to buy them.
For free, yeah. But also but the funny thing is I like having the book. So whenever I come to Ukraine, I always get a set and bring it back with me, and just to have it with me, and maybe I can even give it out to whoever wants.
Okay, yeah. So. Wow. Can you believe it? We are 20 minutes to the next program. It's like we are just started. It's like we are just chatting and just chatting.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. You've been a blessing to a lot of people. I'm sure you will read the comments and you will see how much people have been blessed. Thank you so much. Greet your wife for me and mom.
No, thank you so much for having me.
The whole family.
I will. Thanks so much.
See you in the next 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay.
Blessings. Actually, it's 20 minutes. In the next 20
minutes. Yeah.